everyone, it's Karen hanging out in the craft room today. I first want to apologize to everybody. I took my snow brush out of my car, so I think that's why we got all the snow yesterday, and it's so cold, so I apologize for that. I want to wish all the moms a very happy Mother's Day today, especially my mom and my mother-in-law. And yeah, I hope all you ladies, despite COVID, are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to make a little wall hanging planter. You can use it inside or outside. I made one before. I used a bit of a frame on it. I'm not going to do that this time. And this one I'm going to make today is much, much bigger. The one I made before is right here. This cute planter here. I'm not gonna do the frame this time. And we have some nice little lavender here, and all the items, dollar store. All right, so today we're gonna make one. I'm gonna make it a lot bigger. You can use do whatever size you want that will fit your space. So I grabbed a couple of these. Today I'm going to be using 2 of these from the dollar store. For mine, it's going to be bigger. If you want to do a smaller one, just grab one. I need a little sponge foam for my floral, some glue gun paints. I'm going to use a chalk paint today. I like the look of it for this. A lot of the things that are going into my porch have the chalk paint on it, so I'm going to stick with that today. And you also need a garden fence. So just like a simple garden fence like this. The one I did with the lavender was one fence, and I cut it down in half. A little bit of work, not all doable. I'm actually going to use 4 of these today. I've already attached 2 together like this, and I've attached the other 2. So together we're going to do 4 today to make a really big one. Okay, so to get things going, we're going to start painting our pot so that it dries a little bit while we manage with the garden fence. So I'm just going to throw some white paint on this. Now I like these pots, the letters are raised. Sorry, the letters are raised, so they will show up after being painted. They're black on the tin. I'm going to go over them with white, and then later I'm just going to do a little brush coat with some black. You don't have to fully cover your pot. If you don't want to, you can leave some silver. You may not even want to paint it at all. You could do it in nice colors. I'm keeping mine very simple. Mine's for my portico. And I wanted to have a nice floral arrangement out there that my cat wouldn't pee in. So she seems to think that any planters out there are a litter box. And so I'm going to hang this on the wall and hope that she doesn't find it. So I'm going to go all the way around. I like to do the front and the back. You don't have to. Just if you do see it from the side, you might notice that it's not fully covered. So one side I'll do really nice. The other side doesn't really need to be because it will be mounted. So here we go. Great little activity to do even with your kids, and for moms, if you want it for Mother's Day, you can show your kids how to do this, or you can do it for yourself like I am. And there we go. We're going to let that just dry for a bit. Okay, move that off to the side here. So like I said, I've already put 2 fence things together. Now with your garden fence, they do have the pokey things at the bottom. I left mine on. They fit in nicely. I've just tucked them into the back so they're not on the front of it. This is stacked on top of the round part. If you're just using 2 of these, you want to do the flats together. So I'm going to put my flats together like this. And then it's going to hang on the wall this way. Okay, so I want to make sure that I put, there we go. The sticky part, one of them is going to be on the front, but it's going to depend on where you hang your pot. So really not going to be very noticeable. Now to put these together, I'm going to use some floral wire. You can also use some tape because you're going to paint over it unless you want it in the black. So I'm just going to use some floral wire here, and I'm going to just start, you can see they're matched up there. Just going to start wiring it. And I flipped it upside down so that the knots in the wire are on the back side. And this may just take a few moments. I hope everyone is doing well amongst this COVID. People are getting excited that things are opening up. The only thing I would really like opened up, the only thing I want opened up is my physiotherapy. So I will be, once they announce that, I will be very, very happy. So make sure you get it in certain spots. You might want, oops, there we go. Just twist them really tight. Like I said, the other one, I believe I used some tape and just painted over it. Nice and easy. I wanted it to be really secure, but the wire is actually more secure than I thought it would be. So that's fantastic. I'm going to turn this over and get to this side. And don't forget, if you are doing some of the crafts that I show you in my tutorial, I would really love to see them. This one just moved a bit, so it's not in the right spot. We'll go back to the end here. I really would love to see what you are doing. I miss that about my craft classes, is I would go in with an idea and everybody put their own little twist on it, and it was so nice to see different things and people's style coming out in their crafting. Like I said, the wire does take a little bit of time. That's why I did prep ahead for this. It's just that dainty little part, right? And I'm going to put one more on. There we go. Yes, it sure is chilly out. It's not the Mother's Day we had hoped for, to be able to sit outside and maybe see some family and friends pop by or have a beverage on the driveway. Unless you're wearing hat and mitts, not really much fun. I think I'll just enjoy a beverage later on my heat pad. Living on that. So here we go. I've got it all put together here. Now I'm going to take, I want mine to blend, so I'm going to paint mine with the Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And I'm not going to do a full coverage. I actually want to see some of the black underneath. I will show you here. Certainly nothing you really have to take your time with. Just, as I like to say, slap it on. It's probably the only thing you can slap. Okay, just like this. So you can see right there. I'm going to take a moment to get all this covered. And I really am so happy with the products that have been at the dollar store to be able to create the lavender at the dollar store. That artificial lavender is quite pretty, and they come in a dark purple, light purple, and white. And for this one, I'm actually going to just do greens with ferns, and the ferns are really nice. The greens are really stepping it up at the dollar stores. I'm not sure what you have access to in your area. Maybe you have some old things laying around that you can just spruce up. Got my piece rustically painted. Few little wet spots still, but that's okay. I got my pot painted white. What I am going to do now is use a little black paint. So anything from the dollar store, whether you want to continue with the chalk paint, whatever you prefer. And I'm just going to like highlight around the edges. So I'll show you what I mean here. I'm just going to go like around the top a bit, and it doesn't need to be neat. You almost want the look of just like a shabby, kind of messy look. You can see right there what I mean. And I'm even going to go down the sides a little bit. It's okay if it's a bit dark in some spots. You can wipe it off or add more white later. Also going to do the bottom here. You can even smudge it a bit with your paper towel if you're not entirely happy with it. You can just wipe a little bit off. And go up the other side as well. And the bottom. If you want some of the silver, like the tin look still on it, you can even sand some of your paint off. I just quickly brushed it, so I still have a little bit of the silver there, so that's fine for me. Whatever you like the most. Now, this is where I said that I got the tins with the raised letters. Some of them don't have them. This is what I like because I'm going to put some paint on my brush, dab it off, and just very lightly go over some of these letters and some of the rest of my tin, all going in the same direction. We don't want it to be too crazy, just so you can kind of make out the letters, not perfectly. And put some there and there. If it's too much, very little paint on your brush, but if it's too much, you can add more white. I can see one spot there that's a little bit dark for me, and that's right by a letter, so I'm just going to go over with some white there. So there we go. You can see light. And once it's on too, you can add a little bit more once you see your final look. Okay, so now to hang these, you are going to need something to poke a hole in it. It's very light tin. It bends really easy, so you don't need much. If you are just doing a single with half of this, you just need one pot. 2 pots for 2 up to 4. Well, I'm doing the 4. So I just have a little Mastercraft Master and Kilby pokey stick. And I'm just going to poke 2 holes in it. And you can, it's a little bit hard on my hands to do this. On through. So I've got a hole right there. And I'm going to put another hole right here. And you have the choice. So there we go. I got 2 holes. Okay. So that's how we're going to hang it. And I'm also going to use the wire again, the craft wire, the floral wire. I'm going to do 2 little loops on it. And it's up to you whether you want to hang your basket first or fill your basket first before you hang it. I'm going to put this wire on here to start anyways, so that it's not really tricky with the floral in it. Okay. So just going to get that part done so that we can attach it after. Just twist it on there so it doesn't come off. Okay, so there we go. We've got our little pot almost ready. Now this is, I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue to firm this in here. You don't even have to, you can just plunk it in. But mine will be outside with perhaps a little bit of wind. So I want to make sure that it's in there. I'm just going to glob some glue. There we go. Put my foam in like this. Okay. And I do have a little bit of grass too to put around the edging after. I don't have much. It was at the store. They seem to be out of that one. So I'm going to use some fern type things for mine. Got them there. So we're gonna just start filling the pot. And the ferns, sometimes they look, these ones aren't as nice, but once they're in there, they're kind of mixed with some nice ones, and you bend them, they do look a little bit more realistic. So we're gonna start with that. And this. And they are gonna bend. I'm gonna shape them to how I want them. This one I'm going to even twist the other way. Now remember, we want most of our floral to be up at the back and over the front. So when you put these in, make sure too that you have some facing the back, like this. So the nice part of the plant's facing me right now, and I can flip it forward, because plants are not all facing one way all the time. They kind of go from the middle and out. So this is how we're coming along with this. These were the really nice ferns that I found at the dollar store. Very pretty, and we're going to mix them in. I had to cut them a lot shorter because I didn't want it too tall. There's definitely a variety of ways that you can mount your baskets, or your tin baskets here, onto the garden fence. So this is coming along quite nicely. Got a few more to put in here. I'm going to try to get it fairly full. And the nice thing with the dollar store is that we can do that very inexpensively. There's always deals out there. Sometimes in the floral section though, you really gotta get down on your knees or dig around, because stuff gets shoved in or it's wound up and you don't quite notice how great it is. So I think I'm gonna put one right here. So there we go. And I will arrange this more once it's up. These really nice ones don't have the bend to them like the others, so those ones I can manage to use to fill wherever I need. So that's my floral pot right there. A little wonky, but good. And I'm just going to tuck some grass into the front of it. Like I said, I don't have a lot of this, but just to fill it. I don't want to see that foam in there, and just to give it a bit of a natural look. Okay, so there we go. I'm just standing straight up. Okay, so now that I've got my baskets, the wires on the back, this is the different mounting positions. So if you're just doing the one garden fence where you cut the fence part in half, just center it. Okay, it looks fantastic. Now, if you have two garden fences, this would be 4 across and 4 on the bottom, you can put your pots side by side. That was actually my initial intention to do that. And I was looking at the wall that I'm putting this on, and it's quite a big space, so I did want to fill it more. So instead of going side by side on mine, I'm going to go up and down. So on my garden fence, I do have the pokey parts on the front in this section. So I'm going to make sure that my pots cover that. So my pot here, with my little wire, I'm going to find a spot. I'm just going to lay it down and find a spot that I want it kind of centering on the half. And I'm going to wire it on. It's definitely easier to do the floral after, I would say, because you're really trying to work around it. Okay, and this one. There we go. Not too bad. I'm going to just check on the back here. You can see what it's looking like so far. I am probably going to just tighten that up a bit after. We'll get the other one on. It also has the wire and the ferns already in it. So get a little bit more wire here. My wire is fairly thin. I can just cut it with my scissors. It's not too bad at all. So that's good. We're going to go up here. Mine is quite big to work with here on my desk. And I know it's hard for you to see, so I do apologize for that. I've been very excited to do this craft. I've had the supplies for a while, just trying to get it all sorted and have the time to do the video for you. And then I'm really going to be excited to get it up in my Portugal. So I twist these wires and these wires. I can connect them. Yes, so I put wire on the tin and then I put it on the fence and I just connected them that way. So I can tighten them up if I need to, which I'm sure I will need to. So here is your fence. Like I said, if you're just doing the smaller version, you might want the pot side to side. I am doing the large version. So there we go, a nice wall planter. Mine with the ferns. There's also the lavender you can do. You can choose any flowers that you like, and you can change your flowers anytime. You can put some nice greens in here at Christmas, some fall leaves in the fall, and just changes the whole look of it. And you can have it up year-round, inside or outside your home. Hope everyone has a fantastic Mother's Day. Enjoy your time